Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for the other semi-final of the Vancouver Sevens. This one, a massive one. Fiji versus South Africa could easily be the final. These two sides having great tournaments up till this point, but the Fijians 4 wins in a row, looking to go undefeated throughout the whole competition. But across from them stands the Blitzboks, a team that were beaten once in their group stage, but then in the quarterfinals, they beat the side that took them down and they have advanced through to this point. Looking through at the starting lineups, it is Josefa Talatholo, Georgie Nasova, who currently still leads for the most tries of any player on the Seven Series for this year. Sevu Mothinotangi, Jeremiah Matana, Tario Vailawa, Felipe Saturanga, and also Waisia Natongu there as well. For the South African, Sebastian Job, Ryan Oosterhuizen, Saviwe Soyas Wapi, Shilton Van Wyk, Selvin Davids, Ronald Brown, and Impi Visa. The South Africans kicking off from left to right. We didn't get a lot of time to squeeze it all in, but the kickoff happening now, and the semi-final is underway. Got to take a breath there. That was a lot to fit into only about a minute, but nicely retained by the Blitzboks off kickoff and on the ball straight away. Josefa Talatholo within the first 10 seconds wins a penalty for the Fijians, and now already Sevu Mothinotangi trying to work his way through. Sebastian Job gets over the ball. South Africa managed to take it back. These two sides are breakdown specialists. Selvin Davids running down the far side of the field. 22 metres out. The ball's been stripped, but he was down. So the penalty does go the way of the South African. Sebastian Job goes across to Saviwe Soyas Wapi. He has dropped the ball backwards, cleaned up by the Fijians, offloaded out to Georgie Nasova. Tries a little kick in behind, gets the bounce of the ball, picks it up, passes it back. Such a frantic tempo for these two sides. Offload there to Talatholo. Another one, almost an interception for Ryan Oosterhuizen, but it will be the knock-on from Fiji. And now scrum feed for South Africa. I am glad we get a little bit of a stoppage because these two sides, they have come out like a house on fire. They are both throwing everything into this, and it's going to be the case of eventually someone's going to be breaking through. Now, on the other side of the semi-finals, we saw the Argentines beat the Spanish. They won 7 points to 0. And the winner of this game, of course, will meet Los Pumas in the final. The loser will go on to face off with Spain for the bronze. Now Ronald Brown feeding this ball into the scrum. The Blitzboks with possession. In fact, sorry, it is Selvin Davids. Ball fed in. 5 minutes 15 left on the clock in the first half. Going off to the right-hand side. Selvin Davids gets the pass away to Shilton Van Wyk. Great work from Natongu, grabbed him by the jersey, pulls him into touch, and Van Wyk a little bit slow getting back onto the field. Just really nicely handled. It looked like maybe Van Wyk was going to be able to get away. I'm getting knackered just trying to keep up with your commentary, says Sebastian. Are you okay, Hamish? You nearly ran out of oxygen there. Yeah, they were going very quickly. These two sides just turnover after turnover. Line out thrown now, though, for the Fijian. Tario Vailawa well marked by the South Africans, but the ball bounces back up to Tario Vailawa. Very lucky, but the Blitzboks reading that line out very well. Only just out from their own goal line now for Fiji. Natongu gets the offload to Sevu Mothinotangi. That's too high from Sebastian Job, but I think he's hit him on the chest, diving over. Not so legal from Ronald Brown. Now looking to the short side. Georgie Nasova gets away from Sebastian Job. She's going to be a 100-metre foot race. And at the moment, Nasova got a 2-metre advantage. Job's never quite going to get to him. And the first try of the contest is for Fiji in the first 3 minutes of the semis. But 4 tries for Vancouver. Oh, they're checking something. Put the ball down, says Nick Hogan. Put the ball down again. What is this for? Oh, actually, I think this is the head-on-head from Sebastian Job. Foul play. They're going to be checking this one. This is at least the one that I think they are checking anyway. I mentioned how it looked like it was a little bit too high. This might be a yellow card, if not worse, which I really hope isn't the case. Here it is. Sebastian Job, head-on-head. This is at least a yellow card, if not red, because there was force. I'd like to think that it's yellow. Oh, direct contact to the head. High degree of danger. This is a red card. No mitigation. Red card for Sebastian Job. What a red card mean in Rugby Sevens? Is that the team down by 1 all match? That is correct, and he is frustrated. Not only did he lose the foot race, but now he's lost his spot in the starting lineup. And doesn't look good, says Sakabula Red. Sorry to spoil it for you, says Rob Kiwi. But now Sebastian Job, he will be off the field for the rest of this contest. That is a massive hit to the Blitzboks, and that makes them now the underdog in this match. But 5-0 at the moment for the Fijians. I know red card, bocked down, says Ruth. Yeah, massive mistake to make, unfortunately. And the kick is missed away to the side. So it's going to make the score 5-0. And to be fair, those two, for two players who headbutted each other, they still ran lightning quick. But Georgi Nasova, he has shown exactly why he is the leading try scorer for the men on the Sevens series. Ish, says Lilia B, yeah, not the one that you want to be giving away. Definitely not in such an important game, but it's going to be kicked off by Fiji. This game far from over. Selvin Davids is going to have the ball slapped out of his hands. The height of Talatholo working in the Fijians' advantage. Seville Mothinothangi going away to the right-hand side. Natungu fires it back across. They're on the halfway line. Saturanga goes off to Talatholo, gets around Safiwe Soyas Wapi. Another offload from Fiji, playing that vintage kind of style, and the penalty goes against Safiwe Soyas Wapi. Now to Rio Vailawa, tries to go quickly, gets back up to his feet. They're almost trying to hold him up here with Selvin Davids. Ball pops out the back. Nasova's knocked it on from the pressure of Brown, and it will be the scrum beat for the Blitzboks on their own 22. What do you think our men's 7 team needs to do? Says Kiwi Rob. I assume you're talking about the New Zealanders. I think they've just got to bide their time. Like, they have the fundamentals, but something seems to happen in either the important games this season. Like, they have lost a lot of players. Like, you look through at the guys who are tearing it up in other competitions, such as Caleb Tangitau, Fihi Finiar Norfo. You've got, oh no, is the ref looking up for another TMO here? He's looking up at the big screen. Who is this against? Is this going to be against Fiji this time? Are we playing 6 versus 6? Oh, Georgi Nasova driving tackle on Shilton van Wyk. And looks like he got him a little bit above the horizontal. Is this just a yellow? Is this just a penalty? What's the call going to be? Ridiculous rule in rugby, never been a problem in the past 100 years, says Frederick Botha. There is foul play. Okay, it's a lifting tackle. He's through the horizontal and he lands on his back. So it's going to be a yellow card to Fiji now. So out of those two, you'd have to say that one seems like the slightly stricter Georgi Nasova. A little bit surprised by that one. But it is going to be now 6 versus 6. I think the thing that didn't help was the fact that he tipped him up. And yes, he didn't go massively above the horizontal, but then he drove with his shoulder into the head of the grounded player. So I think that is why it's more so the yellow card than just for the tip itself. So hopefully that makes sense. Red, please, says Les, and we have to score before this guy gets back on, says Sakabula. Now 2 minutes remaining in the half. About 2 minutes remaining of Georgi Nasova's yellow card. Selvin Davids. Nasova watching on. Now Davids, can he get some of that X factor that he normally has? Nicely slapped back by Ryan Oosterhuizen. Well claimed by Ronald Brown. Trying to get the turnover in the breakdown. Not quite able to for Fiji. Ryan Oosterhuizen to get an injury in the opening contest of the Sevens. But then has managed to fight back through it. Selvin Davids tries the cross kick. If this sits up, it is going to be a try, but it sits up for the Fijians. And to Rio Vailawa now, 40 metres out from their line, and they are now back structured. Seville Mothinothangi about to offload it to his teammate in front of him. That wouldn't have worked too well. Natungu goes off to Vailawa. Fiji jogging around with it. Still trying to find that next gap. Talatholo. Good tackle on him. Has long enough arms that it makes it very hard to get that not releasing penalty. Welcome to the 6th series, ladies and gents, says Sebastian. Yeah, luckily for the Fijians, they will return. All MPVs are one hand down, one hand on the ball, and the ref says it's okay. So the penalty goes the way of the Blitzboks. Depending on what hand you're watching would depend on if that's a penalty or not. There was a 4 pass out wide from Selvin Davids, but Ryan Oosterhuizen Looks like it's going to be play on. Fiji with the counter ruck, and that's the penalty for pure power. And they get themselves the penalty for not releasing. I wish this game was longer than 14 minutes. I'll be honest, these two sides, get them in a 5-match series. Be entertainment every step of the way. There is just so much back and forth that is happening. No, George, Japan versus Fiji is next game, says Kiwi Rob. So the next one that we've got is the New Zealand versus Australia. We are skipping Fiji versus Japan for the women's just because there will be a little bit of post-match about this game that we will discuss. Right, Georgie Nasova, he has returned back out onto the field after his 2 minutes in the sin bin. Blitzies can do it. I mustn't be nervous. Too short this game, says George. Yeah, it feels like we're just, we're already halfway through. And, HIA. That's for Ronald Brown, I believe. Just waiting to get clarification. Yes, it is. He's going, come on. He looks like he's all right, but it must have been the mouth guard that registered that he needed to go off. What's the 7 standings currently look like? In the overall standings, Fiji, Argentina, and Spain are all tied on 48 points in first. Then also South Africa are in there for this top 4, and they have won a leg of the Sevens, their home leg in Cape Town. Ball's popped out the back. Fiji with the kick pass. Do they want to just put this ball into touch here, Fiji, or do they want one more try? They are just out. Oh, it's a knock-on and a drop ball, so it's going to be half-time anyway. And that will now be 5-0 for Fiji. That missed kick could be crucial as we head later on in this contest, but what an entertaining first half of rugby between these two teams. All-out pace, all-out power, and, I mean, I wouldn't want to be either of the sides who have to face off with these two teams if this is how they're going to play. Like South Africa being one man down, they are still showing exactly why they are a top contender. 7 minutes is already exhausting. They would die with double minutes, says Mikhail. Yeah, the finals used to be 10 minutes a half. So imagine trying to play this pace for that full 10 minutes each way. Would have been extremely tough. But looking through at the benches, which of course are going to be so crucial in this match for the Fijians, they have got Vunaki, Nadovalo, George Balsi, Tirawailangi, and also Sanila. Then for the South Africans, they have got Ricardo James Duarte, who can be quite the X-Factor player. They've got Xander Reinders, Tristan Lades, Donovan Don, and David Brits. But I'm curious about that HIA, because normally when you go off for a head injury assessment in a game of union, it takes about 10 minutes. In a game of sevens, 10 minutes time, this game's over. So I don't know if we're going to see Ronald Brown return in this match. And also another man we won't see return is Sebastian Job after his red card in the first half. And we have got there, good morning from Cool Melbourne Morning, says Akhtar, welcome in, mate. Intense, hectic, mental, all understatements, says Sebastian. And greetings, Hamish, says Charles, welcome in. Drew Hamish, when did they change it? Says Mikhail. I think for all the time we've been covering sevens, I don't think they've had 10 minutes. So that's since the 2019 Olympics, I think was the first one, or the 2020 Olympics. I don't think they had 10 minutes for those halves. And tell you what, a game that comes to mind for that one, South Africa versus Argentina. Argentina, they were facing a South African side that only had, I believe it was 5 men on the field. In fact, no, sorry, Argentina had 5 men on the field. That was the game that Gaston Raval got sent off. But now, Fiji, they will be kicking off this one from left to right, 7-on-6 for the final 7 minutes of the semi-final. Although, of course, it may not be the last 7. We need to mention if it goes and they are tied, that's going to be a penalty here, playing the man in the air. But yeah, if it is tied at the end of regular time, we are going to golden point, which I feel like would only be the most fitting way to close out the contest between these two teams. Fiji, the very best, says Kevin there. Yeah, they are a top side across the world, Fiji. Flying Fiji, says Roof, and Fiji, the very best. Yeah, just playing the body of Selvin Davids. Now, because he didn't land awkwardly, it means that it isn't a card, but sometimes we have seen those given as a yellow before. Selvin Davids now with the line-out throw on the halfway line. Nicely taken by Ryan Oosterhuizen. Now off to the right-hand side, here comes Tristan Lades. I believe he came onto the field for Ronald Brown out wide for Savile. Suez-Wapi, experienced veteran of the Blitzboks Sevens, wrestled down, and Talatholo, no, gives away the penalty this time. Hand was down. not supporting the body weight. See, that's an interesting call. About the same position on the field. We did see earlier on that steal from the Blitzboks in a very similar fashion. Even if it is foul play, do you really think any player will hit with the head on purpose in the tackle, says Frederick? Yeah, sometimes you just get it completely wrong. Like, there's no cynical nature behind it because no one, other than maybe the Scottish, plan to, like, throw an attack with their head. Now, there's a reason it's called a Glasgow kiss. But Selvin Davids to throw this ball in now for the South Africans. They are only sitting 22 metres out, nicely claimed by Ryan Oosterhuizen. Tristan Lades running almost through the middle. And Pifisa, he has also been out there for the whole half, but we've hardly mentioned him past our wide. Shilton Funvake in the corner, and the South Africans are back into the contest. And Blitz by 2, watch out, says Dorian. And box coming on now, says George, and go the box, says Neil Harvey. But great start to the second half for the Blitzboks. A little bit of a wake-up call there for the Fijians. They took it a bit too casually coming onto the field. And evening, fellas, says on the right, welcome in Tristan Lades with a very difficult kick right near the touchline. Can he get it over? No, that one's short by a good maybe 5-10 metres. So that'll make the score between these two sides 5-all. Hello, George, says Ruth. Scoreboard's a little bit behind, but hopefully it does update soon. What a relief, says Les. Yeah, that will give the Blitzboks a lot of confidence too. But what we've just seen there is what they've been able to do throughout all their other games. Just instantly turning it on, scoring the try, and getting back into contest. We saw it up against the Australians. Now, Ricardo James Duarte. Sometimes a man down by a red card is inspirational, says Robert. I mean, that was exactly what happened for Argentina in that bronze final up against the South Africans for the Olympics, where Argentina claimed their first ever medal. That one's gone out. It's going to be the Fijians who have got themselves the line out. This is the quarterfinals. This is the semi-final. So the winner of this game will go on to face Argentina in the gold medal final. The loser will face Spain for the bronze. And now it's game on. Box are pretty lethal. Exactly right. Now, they've been very strong when it comes to line out. That's nicely claimed by Talatholo. Now Fiji going almost through, but great defence. Ricardo James Duarte going to slap it back onto the side of the Fijians. Or sorry, onto the side of the Blitzboks. Shilton Funvake tackled by Te Reo Vailaua. Another penalty. Oh, and that one once again is going to be for not supporting the body weight. It's a game of inches at the moment in the breakdown. Hogan is being strict. Oh, yes, a semi-final in the title, says on the right. Now Tristan Lades going to be kicking this one into touch for the South Africans, who will look for a set piece. I'm surprised they didn't go with a scrum there, but I guess because they are down a man, it means that they would be at a slight disadvantage if they were to have a turnover against them. Now Shilton Funvake, can he get himself another try here? And please update the score. The score is an online scoreboard, so sadly it is frozen in time, but the score is 5-5. And Fijians counter-attacking coming. Donovan Don makes his way onto the field with just a quarter of this match to go, and the scores are level. 5-5, says on the right. Thrown in over the top. Not able to claim it was Talatholo. Fiji have to make the important tackle. Should be survival of the fittest. Now back across, Tristan Lades gets his pass away. Donovan Don towards the corner, gets the offload to Lades, but he might have just been driven out. They will check this one. I think my first initial reaction is his foot is out, but it was extremely close to the corner for Tristan Lades. We're going to see it now. Yeah, just out, unfortunately, from that angle. And last-ditch effort. Tell you what. It's closer from the other angle. Yeah, ball goes down there, I believe. I don't think this angle that we're seeing here, though, actually shows it clearly. It's very close, but the benefit of the doubt, I think, is that he might be in touch. See, there it looks like he's out, but then at what time does he ground the ball? This might be benefit of the doubt. Bok here. Okay, it's going to be no try. Player is in touch. A game of inches. Tristan Lades, big smile on his face. He thought it was very close there. And so did everyone in BC Place. Right, 7 White's going to make his way from the field. So that is going to be Felipe Saturanga going off. Now line out chance here. Only 5 metres out from their own line here, Fiji. This is going to be a tough one. 3 minutes remaining on the clock. And South Africa always lose to Argentina if they, even if they beat Fiji, says Sun. Although, of course, first they have to look at this game and make sure they get past the Fijians first. 3 minutes remaining now in this contest. Rio Vailawa with the line out. Looks like they're going to lift up Xander Reinders. They're just going to play with a 2-man line out here for the South Africans, so more than likely won't even lift. Oh, they still try it. Slap back by Talatholo. They're in their in-goal area. Fiji somehow keep the ball alive, though, and get it out. That looked like a knock-on the ground from Fiji. Referee has said play on. They're in their in-goal area now, Fiji. Trying to run it out. Risky play. Big Finn comes in. Funaki is an absolute unit, but he passes it off to Rio Vailawa. It will be a foot race for the corner. Xander Reinders cuts him off. South Africa scrambling. 5 metres from the line, and they've dragged down the Fijians. Going short side. They score it full length of the field. And Fiji take the lead, but I thought there was a little knock-on the Fijian try line before they made their 95, taking absolutely nothing away from that try. We're going to see the replay here. Is this the one that they're looking at? Okay, so my apologies. I believe it was actually he placed it, and then from there, he tried to get back up to his feet to then put it back, if that makes sense. So he was in the process of, you know how when you place it and you release? It was that rather than the knock-on. But great scramble defense from, was that time off called by Nick Hogan there? No, it wasn't. Okay, I thought for a second, I thought it was going to be going right back. And what a commentary says Mikhail, but the kick has missed from Fiji, which still gives South Africa a chance. 100 seconds remaining. This has been one of the most hectic games we have seen of the Sevens in a long time. And it can still go either way. We've got to remember, South Africa is still playing with only 6 on the field as well. Now Ricardo James Duarte goes back across to Donovan Don. Short ball. Ricardo James almost going through, but counter ruck from the Fijians. They don't get the ball. Reinders offloads back to Tristan Lades. Very casual looking approach from him. Almost a bit too casual. Now ball here for the Blitzboks. One late try converted here for them would win them this game. Counter ruck coming from the Fijians. In possession for Ricardo James Duarte. He tries to pick up the Fijian and drive forward over the ball. No, Fiji not getting the penalty. Funaki looked gobsmacked that he didn't receive it. Tristan Lades tries to go through with a kick. Selvin Davids winning the foot race, but he tries to kick it forward. It's chipped forward by the Don, and it kicks it and claims it and scores it for South Africa between the posts. They will all 25 seconds remaining on the clock, but a loose ball not handled by the Fijians. This one should be a nice, easy kick. Right, the shot clock. They've got 30 seconds to take this kick, which means they will close out this game and move through to the final to face Argentina. He can just let the time all drift by. And kicks it over, converts, and South Africa go through to the final to face off up against Argentina. But Fiji, it was laboured. The dreads of Selvin Davids managed to duck just in time. I don't know whether or not you're offside if it hits your dread or not, but Donovan Don scores the try, and the Springboks survive. And they get through to win the match. Well done, the box says Frederick. It's never over until it's over, says Lilia B. I can't watch, literally says on the right. That is going to be the victory for the Blitzboks. So like I said, they will be making their way through to the final, and they will be going head-to-head with Argentina. We will be covering that match on the channel too. And just to let you all know in terms of when that is going to be, there's going to be some alarms set in South Africa, that is for sure, because it is going to be at 3:05 a.m. So hopefully some of you guys are up for that contest. But nonetheless, Do thank you all very much for tuning in. The bronze medal match will be played between Spain and Fiji. That is going to be at 1:05 p.m. New Zealand time. We have there Hamish told you so, says Dorian. I mean, you probably predicted South Africa, I assume. So I guess so did 50% of people. We have got there stopped in at the right moment. See, says RIP and not good for blood pressure, says Les. And thanks, Hamish, says Ruth. I said injury time, they will score, says George. And tell you what, we were very close to going to golden point, but it was the fact that Donovan Don was able to run it through and have enough space to be able to walk around, stand between the posts, use up a little bit of extra time, plus the fact that the kicking now, you have a whole 35, 40 seconds to be able to take your drop kick. Normally, if you score before then, at least with the old rules, you'd still have to kick off, but not with those new laws. South Africa were aware of that and hanging on to it for long enough, Davids, to then put that ball over. That was too mental, even for a young heart, mate. Says Sebastian there. And we have the unbelievable congrats box. And how did Fiji just lose that extra player on the pitch as well? Says Stephen Pope. So it was for a driving tackle from Georgie Nasova where he slightly lifted him up. And then the problem was not so much the tackle in terms of the horizontal, but the way that he came down with his shoulder on the head of Shilton van Wyk. And Fiji was humbled, the extra player, and blew it. Says Stephen Pope. I wouldn't say they were humbled. I think they were just, in the last moments, they were outplayed. And honestly, like the bounce of the rugby ball can either be your best friend or your worst enemy. And in that case, for the South Africans, it just popped beautifully up into the hands of Donovan Don. That could happen 10 times. 3 of those times it could have been an awful sideways bounce and could have gone anywhere. But in this case, for the South Africans, little bit of luck on the side to sit it up and Don with the finish. And we have got there, nice game, boys, says Blanche. And Blitzy's by 2, Hamish. Says Dorian, and what a match, says George there. And also we have got there now, we have the women's first semi-final, Japan versus Fiji. It is taking place at the moment, and already Fiji have been able to score themselves the try. And Fiji just lost a 6-man Africa slack. Fiji, congrats Africa, says Rups. And yeah, it honestly did give me the throwback vibes to that Olympics bronze medal final. South Africa, they were up against a 5-man Argentina, and they were defeated in that game because sometimes that red card can make you more hungry. In that contest, Gaston Ravol made his way from the field for the Argentines, not having their most experienced head. In this case, it was one of those younger guys, Sebastian Job, who has put in performances time and time again outside of his injuries. Do we have women's in the Sevens, says Les? Yes. Have you ever watched a leg of the Sevens? They play literally coinciding with the men's. So any time that they aren't playing like 3 men's matches and there's an hour gap, it's because there are women's matches taking place. Speaking of which, Fiji winning their semi-final at the moment. And gobsmacked. Or are you talking about the South Africans? For the South African side of things, they are only invitational at the moment. But they've still got a little bit more to go. But once they get onto that circuit, I think they will be able to keep their spot. Hopefully, you know, in the future, we will get to see South Africa consistently on the circuit too. Friday Super Rugby. But do we have a team? You do, but they're just not at that point of being competitive yet. You know, when they do have, I mean, there's a few decent players out of South Africa in terms of that 7 setup. But, yeah, it's just not quite, if that makes sense. If you're so athletic, you can only beat them with teamwork, says on the right. Vanaka boys for the game, says Blanche, no worries at all. So, yeah, the next game, it is going to be a 3:05 a.m. kickoff for you guys in South Africa. So, a bit of a brutal time. But we are going to be live on the channel for it. So anyone who is new, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe too. But thank you all very much for tuning in. Our next live stream, I will just quickly get the exact time. I believe 14 minutes time is when we are going to be starting for that match between Australia and the New Zealanders. But I do thank you all very much for tuning in. We'll see you all for the next one.